Would everyone please rise for the national anthem, which will be sung by Ashley Gibbons, Seton Hall Law School graduate, 1994. Mr. Gibbons.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we marched at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. I want to welcome all of you who are here on this wonderful day to witness the swearing in of Judge Coleman as a Justice of the Supreme Court. I'm Robert Willents, and I'm the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. There are a lot of people on the stage, and not all of you may know them. I assure you that not each one of them is going to give a speech, so that in order that you might know them, I will attempt to just introduce them, or at least indicate who they are. Who was a law school graduate who just sang the national anthem. Now we go to the next row on the extreme left, Judge Galkin, Judge Petrella, Judge King, Judge Pressler, all four of them presiding judges of panels of the Appellate Division, Judge Weeks, Superior Court Judge, Herb Tate, former prosecutor of Essex County, now the chairman of the Board of the Public Utilities, Peter Venero, Governor's Counsel, Mr. John Yusevich, the Administrator of the Appellate Division, Ms. Reisner, who's the Public Defender, Ted Fetter, the Deputy Director, Administrative Director of the Courts, moving to your left in the second row, and we're moving along. Justice Schreiber and Justice Pashman, retired justices of the New Jersey Supreme Court, Judge Morton Greenberg of the Court of Appeals of the Third Circuit, Judge Ann Thompson, Chief Judge of the Federal District Court, Judge Herman Michaels, the presiding judge for administration of the Appellate Division, the Attorney General Horitz. Oh, this is, no, I'll get it right. Just give me a minute. Siobhan Tare, President of the Garden State Bar Association. Robert Lipscher, my boss, the Administrative Director of the courts. Stephen Townsend, Clerk of the New Jersey Supreme Court. Where are my glasses? Well, we're going to move from this side over for one moment. I am in the right row, and I think I'm about to get this straight. I think this is Mrs. Virginia Maddox Hosley, who you will hear from soon. Bill McGuire, not a judge yet. He's the president of the New Jersey State Bar Association. Senator President of the New Jersey Senate, Secretary of State Lana Hooks, Governor Whitman, and last but not least, the members of the New Jersey Supreme Court. This young person who is expressing outrage. Retiring Justice Robert Clifford, Justice Handler, Justice Pollock, Justice O'Hearn, Justice Garibaldi, and Justice Gary Stein. And now you can give a little applause for all of them. Secretary of State Lana Hooks will now read the commission whereby the governor appointed Judge Coleman to the New Jersey Supreme Court. Secretary of State.
This is dated December the 12th, 1994. The Honorable James H. Coleman, Jr., PJAD. Dear Judge Coleman, I am pleased to advise you that the Senate confirmed you to be Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Accordingly, I hereby appoint you to that position effective December 17, 1994. This letter shall serve as your commission for that position. I am confident that you will fulfill the duties of Associate Justice with competence and integrity. My best wishes as you begin your new responsibilities. Sincerely yours, Christine Todd Whitman, Governor.
Now, if Judge Coleman is here, and his family, and whoever has the robe, perhaps, yes, I guess everyone's here. Would you please come up to the stage? For everyone's information, the Bible will be held by Mrs. Coleman, Sophia Coleman. How are you, Mrs. Coleman? And the robe will be held by Judge Coleman's children, Karen Michelle Mullins. Hi, Karen. And James H. Coleman III. Hi, Jim. If you would raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, James Henry Coleman, Jr.,
I, James Henry Coleman, Jr.,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will perform the duties
and that I will perform the duties
of Justice of the Supreme Court
as Justice of the Supreme Court
faithfully, impartially, and justly, to the best of my ability, so help me God.
To the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. nominated by Justice Coleman's former law clerks, probably his present law clerks, too. I would like to present a person who, along with Judge Coleman, has made this wonderful, wonderful day possible. My pleasure to present Governor of the State of New Jersey, Governor Christine Whitman.
Thank you. Congratulations to Justice Coleman, and good afternoon to everyone. Welcome to Trenton for this very historic occasion. John Adams wrote that America should be a government of laws and not of men. Sometimes the task falls to a governor to select a man or a woman who will put that theory into practice on the state's highest court. I was very fortunate to have that opportunity. Today, New Jersey shares the pride that I'm sure Justice Coleman and his family are feeling at this moment. I looked for someone who would bring the highest qualifications, intelligence, and integrity to this court, and I found him. Justice Coleman has a depth of knowledge and breadth of experience rare in any profession. The first sitting judge to be appointed to the Supreme Court in many years, he has gained vision from both sides of the bench. Born in the segregated rural South, James H. Coleman, Jr. recognized early that education was the key to a better life. He started working at age 7 to buy clothing and food supplies, school supplies. Faced with a political and social system that was separate and unequal, he channeled his anger at the injustice into his education and excelled in high school at Virginia State University and at Howard University Law School. During the summer between high school and college, James Coleman made his first sojourn to our state to earn tuition money. Much to our good fortune, he realized he could pursue opportunities here in New Jersey that he couldn't in the South. After graduating from law school, he moved here for good, and good it has been for him and for all of us. He has served the people of New Jersey with honor, both in private practice and on the bench. For 3 decades, he has been a judge, first in Workers' Compensation Court, then in Union County Court, next in the Law Division of New Jersey Superior Court, and then its Appellate Division. He has been the presiding judge there since 1987. In the meantime, he has served when needed as a Justice Pro Tem of the New Jersey Supreme Court. Justice Coleman has a unique claim to the bench. He sets a standard for fairness that would make any jurist proud. He judges each case on its merits and brings balance to every decision, basing his conclusions on the facts and on the law. His experience as both a trial and appellate judge will add luster and distinction to our highest court. Clearly, Justice Coleman, based on his record, is an outstanding candidate for the New Jersey Supreme Court. Just as clearly, Jim Coleman, as a person, brings a unique perspective and set of life experiences to the bench that will serve us all well. Today, we've witnessed the swearing in and robing of a new Associate Justice of the New Jersey Supreme Court, the first in almost 10 years. U.S. Supreme Court Justice Potter Stewart once said, "The mark of a good judge is a judge whose opinion you can read and have no idea if the judge was a man or a woman, Republican or Democrat, a Christian or a Jew, and if a Christian, a Protestant, or a Catholic. You just know he or she was a good judge." I would add Hispanic, Asian, black, or white to that. Justice Coleman surely fits Potter Stewart's description. He has made his mark in an exemplary 30-year judicial career. I congratulate him, his wife Sophia, and their 2 children at his appointment, and look forward to his distinguished career in the highest court of New Jersey. Congratulations.
Thank you, Governor.
Now, my pleasure to present the President of the New Jersey Senate, who just happens to be a senator whose district includes Justice Coleman's hometown, Scotch Plains, Senator Don DeFrancesco, President of the New Jersey Senate.
Thank you. And I speak on behalf of the entire legislature, and I really mean it when I say it's really a pleasure to be here to participate in this wonderful swearing-in ceremony of the newest member of the New Jersey Supreme Court, the Honorable James H. Coleman, Jr. And of course, as the Chief noted, I take particular pride in making this introduction because he kind of lives in the neighborhood, even though he was a little taken back when I said to one reporter, and people who know me know I joke around a lot, that he lives on the rich side of town and I live on the poor side of town. But he is certainly a well-known, respected member of the legal community in Union County. I know they're well represented here. I see some lawyers in the back from Union County. I guess it's a good excuse not to be in court today, Tony. And there's certainly some former members of the legal community in Union County who've been on the bench for a long time, longer than I would even suggest to hear standing here. But good friends for many, many years. And as you all know, there can be no greater honor in the judiciary than to sit on one of the most prestigious benches in the country, the New Jersey Supreme Court. And there can be no greater responsibility, because to be a Supreme Court justice, you have to possess superior capabilities and talents. You have to be able to understand, as you all know, the complexities of the law and the intricacies of a Supreme Court decision. But most of all, you need individuals who have integrity, who have character, conscience, and a vision. We're here today because our Governor Whitman found such a person, and his name is James H. Coleman, Jr. Throughout his long and impressive career, Judge Coleman has shown a deep, abiding respect for our state's judicial system and for the tangible impact the courts have on the public it serves. His decisions from the bench have been marked by the same tact, concern, and fairness that have distinguished him in his courtroom. Judge Coleman brings more than an exemplary professional and legal career to the highest bench. He brings with him cumulative experiences of a lifetime. The son of a sharecropper, the product of segregated schools, a college honors graduate, Judge Coleman understood at an early age what an author once said when that is, there's no such thing as a great talent without great willpower. Today is more than just a special day for Judge Coleman and his family. Today is a special day for all of us in New Jersey and for all the residents, and a proud moment for the Supreme Court of New Jersey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator DeFrancesco. The next person who will address you, except for one justice, has served longer on the New Jersey Supreme Court in its modern form since the Constitution of 1947, longer than any other justice. He has served on the New Jersey Supreme Court for 21 years. He has been a marvelous, marvelous justice. And it's my pleasure to present the man who's having a little birthday tomorrow that has something to do with us being here today, Justice Robert L. Clifford. Justice Clifford.
Thank you very much indeed, Chief Justice. Governor Whitman, Senator DeFrancesco, Mr. Chief Justice, distinguished occupants, if without number, of this stage, and friends and family, all of Jim Coleman. A couple of months ago, I was in my chambers in the morning when Governor's Chief Counsel Peter Venero called me on the phone. This is not an unusual thing. Some of you in this audience know that Mr. Venero was my law clerk in the 1984-85 term of court, and I stay in touch with most of my former clerks, and Peter and I have occasion to discuss the small talk from time to time. Nothing, Governor, that involves matters of the executive branch. I assure you, Mr. Senate President, nothing that would touch on legislation. And Chief Justice, I regret to report, nothing that would affect the judicial branch. He says no every time. Well, very shortly into this conversation, which was nothing but chit-chat, he said, can you hold on a minute? The governor wishes to speak with you. I thought he was pulling my leg. I mean, governors don't talk to members of the court, I suppose on official business occasionally to the Chief Justice, but this is not, you understand, like the federal system used to be, where Felix Frankfurter gave advice to President Franklin Roosevelt, Abe Fortas gave advice to Lyndon Johnson. Governors don't, at least they don't, in my experience, talk to justices of the court. You know, save for the couple of weeks that were left in Governor Cahill's term when he appointed me to this court and he was looking for a lost file or something that I had not done. No governor has had any occasion to seek my wise counsel and advice or to impart to me important information. Governor Byrne, whom I've known for years, went 8 years without once feeling any urge to tell me anything, ask me anything. Governor Kane struggled through his 2 terms with nary a phone call. Governor Florio resisted whatever impulse he might have felt to clue me in on what was going on. And so I have Venero telling me the governor wants to speak with me. And as I say, I thought he was pulling my leg, and I'm sure the response that I was in the middle of constructing was interrupted when, sure enough, I heard the, of course, familiar voice of our governor on the telephone. And what she was doing was extending to me the extraordinary courtesy I thought at the time and think now of telling me that in a few hours she was going to announce as my successor on the Supreme Court James H. Coleman, Jr., Judge of the Appellate Division. I was delighted. I'm sure I did not respond appropriately. I hope I can now, Governor, I thank you so much for that courtesy. Shortly thereafter, I spoke with Judge Coleman, and I sat down and wrote him a little note, and I'm going to tell you what I told him. I said, this is a wonderful day for you and your family. This is a wonderful day for the judiciary, and it is a wonderful day for the people of the state of New Jersey. For you and your family, because this is quite plainly the best job in the world. Now, the only time they pay attention to you in this job is when you get here and when you're going out. The rest is dead time. And so, on the way out, I have a new experience for me, been subjected to inquiries from members of the press. And I guess, like most of the people that do this all the time, you develop a little patter in the course of which I say, this is the best job in the world. And some of them may ask me why, and I've attempted to explain it, and I am not at all sure that I can. And surely I'm not going to take your time this afternoon in the effort to do so. And it may simply be that the experience is so unique that only those who are privileged to enjoy it and have been, as are my earlier colleagues, Justices Schreiber and Cashman, really know what it is. You're going to have to take it on faith. It is the best job in the world. It's a great day for the judiciary because every judge in this state must feel the enormous pride that one of their own, a tested and proven judge, has, I hesitate to use the word ascended because it sounds so pretentious, but that's the word they use, ascended to the Supreme Court. And finally, for the people of this state, they're getting not just an experienced knowledgeable, proven judge. They're getting a man of enormous integrity, of compassion, of sensitivity, of principle, a good and decent man. Justice Coleman becomes the 29th person since the 1947 Constitution to come to the Supreme Court. He will succeed to the seat that I have occupied lo these 2 decades, and that first was held by Justice Henry E. Ackerson, Jr. When Justice Ackerson retired, he was succeeded by Justice William J. Brennan, Jr. When Justice Brennan went on to the greater glory of the United States Supreme Court, he was succeeded by Joseph Weintraub. When Justice Weintraub became Chief Justice Weintraub, he was succeeded by Justice John J. Francis. When Justice Francis retired, he was succeeded by Pierre Garvin. When Pierre Garvin became Chief Justice, the seat came to me. The time has come for me to relinquish that seat, which I do so cheerfully with enormous pride, that it goes to this wonderful man, Justice Coleman.
Thank you very, very much, Justice Clifford. It's now my pleasure to present the presiding judge for administration of the Superior Court of New Jersey, the Appellate Division, Judge Coleman's former boss, except judges really don't have any boss, as I have found out, Judge Herman Michaels.
Governor Whitman, Chief Justice Wilentz, members of the Supreme Court, Senator DeFrancesco, distinguished and honored guests, and ladies and gentlemen. Today is a truly historic and certainly a joyous day. Judge James H. Coleman, Jr., a judge of the Appellate Division of the Superior Court of New Jersey, has become Justice Coleman, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of New Jersey. Jim, if I may be informal one more time publicly, I want to assure you that I speak for all of your colleagues on the Appellate Division when I tell you that we are honored that you have been chosen to be a Supreme Court Justice. We rejoice with you and with your family in the honor that has been bestowed upon you by Governor Whitman. Justice Coleman was appointed to the Appellate Division on September 14, 1981. He came to our court with outstanding qualifications. He had an excellent education background and a broad experience as a judge both in the Workers' Compensation Court and in the trial courts of this state. He possessed the temperament and the good common sense, when blended with his other fine qualities, made him an ideal appellate division judge. And certainly, he helped continue the national reputation of our appellate division as one of the outstanding intermediate appellate courts in the country. We rotate each year in our court so that no judge sits together for too long over a long period of time, and I had the pleasure of sitting with Judge Coleman one year. I found that he was intelligent, he was knowledgeable, he was patient, and he was very understanding. Jim's opinions were a standard of excellence. They not only reflected his scholarship and industry, but were written in clear, understandable English. Jim's opinions decided the issues that were before the court, and they serve as a guide today to the bench and to the bar. During the 13 years that Jim served on the appellate division, including the 7 years that he was a presiding judge of one of the parts, he was meticulous, thorough, and scholarly in his work. Above all, however, he was fair. He administered the law with an even hand, and this is so essential if the public is to have confidence in the judicial system. And with Jim on our court, I believe he continued that confidence in the public. Jim, you have graced our court, and you have served the people of this state with honor and distinction. We look forward to your continuing to do so now as a Supreme Court Justice. Frankly, I've been honored to sit with you and to work with you. And I want to publicly thank you for the advice and support that you have given me over the years that I have been the presiding judge for administration. Someone asked me once, what does a presiding judge for administration do? And I said, I'm the person that tries to manage 31 other people who have the exact same constitutional tenure and power and salary that I do. And therefore, I need all the help I can get. In a way, Jim, you're going to be very, very missed by our court and by me personally. So I know that when I speak now for all of your colleagues on the court, and we wish you continued good health, continued success, and certainly happiness as you assume the new duties as a Supreme Court Justice of New Jersey. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Michaels. It's now my pleasure to present someone who's going to give us the real lowdown on Judge Coleman, Justice Coleman's first grade teacher, Mrs. Virginia Maddox Hosley. Mrs. Maddox Hosley.
Honorable Chief Justice, members of the Supreme Court, Governor of New Jersey, and all other guests. To be here at this moment in time this is awful. This is terrible. To be here at this moment in time to witness the investiture of James H. Coleman, Jr., Associate Justice to the Supreme Court of the State of New Jersey, is a highlight that I will forever cherish. I introduced James to the 3 R's. In a little 3-room rural school in Virginia. We did a lot of interesting things in that little 3-room school. We sang and danced. We conducted junior league meetings, and we presented plays. I remember a little operetta about a rambling rose that wanted to run away from the garden. In the operetta, James was the rambling rose. I'm not going to say that I foresaw this moment when I knew James was a first grader. But I knew he had the qualities needed for success in any field. He was intelligent, cooperative, and diligent. He was a happy child, well-liked, and I thought he was a cute little boy. I am very proud that I played a part in helping to mold the character of this caring, noble man. It gives me great pleasure to address him as Your Honor. I feel the pride that his parents would have felt could they have shared this moment. The people of Lawrenceville, Virginia, and Brunswick County are very happy to congratulate Justice James H. Coleman of the Supreme Court of the State of New Jersey. And we congratulate the Governor of New Jersey for his appointment. Thank you.
There I thought he had overcome all these obstacles. I mean, what do you expect with a first grade teacher like that? I'm pleased to present Judge of the Superior Court of New Jersey, who is representing the Judicial Council of the National Bar Association, Judge Renee Jones Weeks. Judge Weeks.
Governor Whitman, Chief Justice, members of the Supreme Court, Senator DeFrancesco, Justice Coleman, family and friends. I am extremely honored to be a part of this historic occasion, marking Justice James H. Coleman's appointment to the New Jersey Supreme Court. Having known Justice Coleman for several years, I would like to briefly dwell upon some of his many admirable qualities which distinguish him from all others. First, as a jurist, he has constantly displayed intellectual prowess in his analysis of complex issues and delivery of fact-driven opinions. His knowledge of the law and fairness toward litigants remains the cornerstone of his persona. As the first African-American appointed to the Supreme Court in this state, Justice Coleman serves as a role model and mentor for countless others to emulate. He has overcome tremendous adversities throughout his life. As an impoverished child, he defied the segregated school system of the South and attended Virginia State University. Thereafter, he attended Howard University School of Law. These accomplishments alone are worthy of praise, but Justice Coleman sought more. After his appointment to the Union County Bench in 1973, he ascended to the Appellate Division, where he became presiding judge in 1978 until his recent appointment to the Supreme Court. Clearly, Justice Coleman has demonstrated through his vast activities the work ethic and fairness to all is inevitably rewarded in the form of success. Finally, as a devoted husband, loving father, and most recently a grandfather, Justice Coleman has proven that compassion, understanding, guidance, and love are most important in cultivating a family relationship. It is often so true that nice guys finish last. However, with Justice Coleman, nothing could be further from the truth. It is genuinely refreshing to see a person of such integrity, character, and intellect recognized and honored with an achievement of this magnitude. In the words of William E.B. Du Bois, noted civil rights leader and teacher, "There is in this world no such force as the force of a man determined to rise. The human soul cannot be permanently changed. There is no finer representation and realization of the American dream than Justice James H. Coleman, Jr. Thus, on behalf of the Judicial Council of the National Bar Association, the nation's largest and oldest organization of minority attorneys and judges, we salute you, Justice Coleman, for your outstanding achievement and for serving as a long-standing member of our organization. Later this afternoon, the Honorable F. Michael Giles, also of the Superior Court, and I will present you with a memento of this occasion to adorn your new chambers on behalf of all of the members of the Judicial Council of the National Bar Association. Congratulations to you and to your family. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Weeks. We'll now hear from the President of the New Jersey State Bar Association, William B. McGuire. Mr. McGuire.
Governor Whitman, Chief Justice Willents, Justice Coleman, other members of the Supreme Court, Senator DeFrancesco, see I remembered your name, Donnie, members of the Coleman family, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the association, I would like to thank Justice Coleman for asking us to be part of this magnificent day. We deeply appreciate being here, Justice. You will be a superb addition to this court, and the lawyers of this state to a person applaud you, Governor Whitman, for making this splendid appointment. I might add that this has indeed raised the morale of the trial and appellate judges of this state to see one of their own ascend to this great court. I would be remiss if I did not recognize and express the deep appreciation of the association to Justice Robert Clifford for his many years of dedicated service to this court and to the people of this state. We will miss you, Justice Clifford. You have a worthy successor in Justice Coleman. The New Jersey Supreme Court occupies a special place in courts across this nation. This court has been a dynamic, forward-looking institution that has for years served well the citizens of this state. It has been a model for other states whose own courts have long looked to the New Jersey Supreme Court for guidance on legal issues and court administration techniques. It has never shied away from difficult issues, just ask the bar of this state, preferring instead to confront them with courage and unquestioned integrity. Well, I have some good news for you. The presence of Justice Coleman on the court will only make this great institution stronger. The court will flourish due to his presence on it. He is well respected, both by his colleagues on the bench and by the members of the bar who have appeared before him. He has exhibited a willingness for hard work. He possesses a keen intellect and a gentleman's demeanor. Truly, he demonstrates on a daily basis the wisdom of the words of the French philosopher Diderot, decency renders all things tolerable. These are qualities that have made him a fine person and will make him an outstanding justice. He will bring a fresh perspective to this court. From the humble beginnings about which we have heard, he has doggedly pursued his dreams through law school, through private practice, and through different positions on the bench. His hard work and determination have now culminated in this, his elevation to the highest court of this state. He and his family are justifiably proud of these achievements, as we all are. Although this day may be his finest professional day and a great day for the bench as well as for the bar, perhaps more importantly, it is a banner day for the citizens of New Jersey who are the real winners today, because their Supreme Court will now enjoy the talents of this man. There's an ancient Arabic expression, "He who knows not and knows not he knows not, he is a fool. Shun him. He who knows not and knows he knows not, he is simple. Teach him. He who knows and knows not he knows, he is asleep. Wake him. He who knows and knows he knows, he is wise. Follow him." Justice Coleman, you are a wise man. This association intends to follow you. This association has affection for you and has respect for you. You will be a great justice. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McGuire. For a while there, I wasn't sure you were going to be able to come out of the nose, but you did it, and we're all proud of you. My pleasure to present next the president of the Garden State Bar Association, Siobhan Tier, to say a few words. Siobhan.
Well, it's a hard act to follow, both of Ms. Hosley and having a very strange name. But good afternoon, Justice Coleman, Chief Justice Wilentz, Governor Whitman, elected officials, and honored friends and relatives. This is a most momentous occasion for the state of New Jersey. They have sworn in today a fine judge who is now the first African American justice to sit on the New Jersey Supreme Court. I thank me and my organization, thank Governor Whitman for making such a wonderful choice. In hearing Ms. Hosley speak, I don't think everyone in this room clearly understands the great feeling and pride that African Americans, especially lawyers, have this day. It is an honor that Justice Coleman well deserved and a privilege that could not have been chosen for a better man. He is one of a select group of judges in the state that has ascended to the bench from lower courts. There's an African proverb that states that it takes a village to raise a child. From the words of Ms. Hosley, you can understand what a fine village he lived in. Though coming from humble roots, he has risen to great heights. He is the kind of judge that makes you look inside when you have to argue a case, because he makes you analyze and answer the true questions of what is going on with that case and integrate the facts with the law. Justice Coleman is a rare breed of judge that inspires lawyers to work harder and to do better without ever raising his voice. He is a quiet giant. In these times when lawyer bashing is the order of the day, Justice Coleman stands above us all. He is an individual that embodies all of the qualities that a lawyer should have, and we all should strive to reach his level of excellence in our lives. And to put it simply, Justice Coleman is a judge's judge and a lawyer's lawyer. There's a problem being last, because then you sit here and cross off things that you plan to say. But I don't think anyone really mentioned that Justice Coleman, when his swearing-in process came in, the Senate unanimously voted him in. I think it's probably one of the first times, and I'm sure the Senate President will tell us how many times the Senate has voted unanimously on anything in the last several years. But on behalf of the Garden State Bar Association, I want to say congratulations and thank you for allowing us to witness that we can have great expectations. And if you work hard, you might get what you deserve. And you certainly did. I, too, will have to quote the same man the civil rights leader of W.E. Du Bois. And it was the same quote, but I'm going to say it slowly because I have an ending for it. There is in this world no force as the force of a man determined to rise. The human soul cannot be permanently chained. Justice Coleman, you have risen and your soul has been unchained. Thank you.
Governor, Judge Coleman, justices and judges, Senator DeFrancesco, and friends of Judge Coleman, both on the stage and in the audience. Justice Coleman has had a long and distinguished career. He has been a judge for more than 30 years. He has served for 13 of those 30 years on the second highest court in this state, and served well. During that time, he has also served the judiciary in other most important ways, especially as chair of a special committee that led to the creation of the Task Force on Minority Concerns, the first in the nation. He was an outstanding trial judge, clearly deserving appointment to the appellate division. He is an outstanding man, a man of solid judgment, and not just judicial judgment, the kind of judgment needed to chair that special committee on minority concerns. He is a generous man and has freely given his time and advice to many judges, including me. He is a most respected member of the judiciary, respected by lawyers, judges, justices, and the public. He will be an excellent justice. The court welcomes this most highly qualified judge as its new member and thanks Governor Whitman for appointing him. We thank her for more than that, however. This is a momentous day in the history of our judiciary. For the first time ever, we will have an African American on our highest court. Young children on our playgrounds, little kids starting school, adolescents just growing up, will see a bright ray of hope that they didn't see before. And so will their older brothers and sisters. And grown-ups, Black, Hispanic, Asian American, and others, all of them, not only blacks, but all of them, will feel better about our justice system. We'll have some more confidence in it. Everyone should celebrate this day, for it is a good day for all of us. It is a good day for society. Sadness and happiness sometimes go together. We will miss Justice Clifford. We will always miss him. He has been our colleague, our friend, and a superb justice. But at the same time, the court welcomes Justice Coleman. We welcome him. He will be our colleague, he will be our friend, and he will be a superb justice. Thank you. My pleasure to present the new Justice of the Supreme Court of the State of New Jersey, Justice James H. Coleman, Jr.
Governor Whitman, Chief Justice Wilentz, Associate Justice of our State Supreme Court, judges of our state and federal court, appellate and trial, members of the executive department, legislative leaders, family, and friends. This is a great day for all of New Jersey, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I feel as if today is a part of a 3-act human drama. Act 1 covered my life up to the confirmation period of October 17, 1994. Act 2 covers the post-confirmation period through today. Act 3 will cover my tenure on the court. Today, however, the curtain rises with a bit of light humor. You may ask why. The purpose is to calm my nerves. There's been a great deal in the press so far suggesting that Jim Coleman has come from rags to riches. I still have the rags, and I'm still looking for the riches. They even mention that we have luxury automobiles, but fail to mention that they are over 15 years old with almost 500,000 miles on them. Consistent with the idea that I am no Horatio Alger, I have today brought with me what the press has kindly referred to as my thinking shoes. I thought this may be an appropriate occasion for the audience to take a look at how long and how hard I had to work in order to reach this point in life. We will now have the unveiling. At an earlier time in my life, I was a practicing attorney, and during those years, I came to understand that there is a well-established tradition that when a lawyer appears before a Supreme Court, it behooves that attorney to establish a rapport with each justice on that court. Consistent with that fine tradition, notice is hereby given today to Justice Pollock, Justice O'Hearn, and Justice Stein that you can no longer call my tennis balls out when they are in. Please take further notice that as of tomorrow, Justice Handler will become the Senior Associate Justice. There is a law known as the right to know law, and I took advantage of it for purposes of today at least. And I can therefore inform you that Justice Garibaldi will continue to be the youngest member on our court. To the satisfaction of Justice Clifford, I shall strive to minimize, quote, verbal pollution, end of quote, and I shall not use footnotes in my remarks today. But unlike Justice Clifford, I am not a linguistic hygienist. So please do not grade my comments today too harshly, Justice Clifford. To the Chief Justice, I am indeed grateful for your initial appointment of me in 1981 to serve on the appellate division. That appointment provided me with the opportunity, metaphorically, to write my way on to the governor's short list of candidates for consideration to become an associate justice. I look forward, Chief Justice Walentz, and all of the other members of the court, to the opportunity of working with you on a fine court. To the shock of some and the surprise of many, Governor Whitman made this day possible by nominating me on October 3rd, 1994. I received a most unusual phone call at about 4:20 p.m. of the afternoon of September 29, 1994. One of my law clerks came in and said what I thought was, "Governor's office is on the phone." My assumption was that it was the governor's office because I had only recently made a telephone call to the governor's chief counsel, and I thought he was returning my call. So when I picked up the telephone, there was this wonderful voice on the other end that said, "Hello, this is Christy." And I said, "Who?" You can imagine that I was not only speechless, but I even changed colors. The governor proceeded to inform me as to why she was calling, and then she paused and said, "You have some time to think about it." How long do you think it took me before Governor, I thank you, and in the process of nominating me, you have indeed left your footprints on the sands of time. It is therefore with a deep sense of duty and high resolve that I accept the awesome responsibility of becoming an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of New Jersey. As my mother would say if she were alive, I thank you, Governor, from the bottom of my heart. Audience, please rise and join me in saying thank you to the governor. Under the leadership of Senator DeFrancesco, who happens to be my home district senator, the Senate moved expeditiously and approved the nomination unanimously. I think I have said it before, but I refer to it as the Senate moving with, quote, all deliberate speed, end of quote. Thank you, Senator DeFrancesco, and all of the members of the Senate for moving the nomination and voting unanimously to confirm. My special thanks also are extended to my preceptor, Lester Weiner, an attorney who so graciously took me into his law offices in 1959 to serve a clerkship that was mandated at the time before one could become licensed to practice law in the state. He did not stand with the crowd that said, "I would like to, but what would the peers or my neighbors think of me if I were to take you into my office?" Lester, if you're here today, you are a man ahead of your time, and I say thank you. I also extend thanks to retired Justice Schreiber. He tutored me on the art of becoming a good appellate judge when we were chambermates together in the early 1980s. Sid, as he is affectionately known to so many of us, you were a great justice and a great teacher. Thank you. Further, I wish to express my sincere thanks to all of the speakers you've heard today. They made some wonderful remarks, and I hope that I do not become a believer in them until I have completed my tenure on the court. But thanks anyway. A word of thanks also will go to Ashley Gibbons, who sang the national anthem so beautifully. I heard him at the Seton Hall Law School dedication, and I said I would wonder if he would be pleased to come to join us today, and he graciously accepted. Thank you in advance to what I believe will also be a wonderful rendition of the Lord's Prayer from my college classmate and fraternity brother, Winston Hughes. I shall also miss my colleagues and staff in the appellate division. Your brilliance and collegiality helped to make this day possible. some of you are as proud of this occasion and as pleased with the governor's appointment as I am. Mrs. Maddox Hosley, you were my first and only and the greatest of all teachers in my book. I am so grateful that you could share this occasion with us, and I only pray that God will continue to give you a long and beautiful life ahead. Thank you. So much for the thank yous. Most of you have come to our state capitol today to be part of this long-awaited historic occasion. Some have described this event as an inauguration. Others have called it a coronation. While those descriptions are not altogether accurate, they do reflect the pride and the joy shared by all. This is part of that symbol of hope for all humanity I mentioned on October 3rd. As a child growing up in the Old South, I encountered injustice in all of its forms, including dispensation from the judicial system. I came to feel like the swallow in Aesop's fable, which built her nest under the eaves of a court of justice, but nonetheless lost her newborn to a predator. And in response to words of condolence, the swallow replied, "It is not only my little ones that I mourn, but that I should have been wrong in that very place where the injured fly for justice." Unlike the swallow, however, I did not allow my early experiences to smother my optimism and ambition. Indeed, those experiences became a source of motivation and influenced my decision to go to law school. I wanted to become an instrument for change so that the next generation would have a better and brighter opportunities than I. So I dedicated my life to the ministry of justice. This appointment we celebrate today allows me to continue as a secular minister for justice, hopefully into the 21st century. I've come to realize as a judge that the concept of justice is ever undergoing changes. When I was growing up, justice was defined as the non-discriminatory right to the use of public accommodations, the right to vote, the right to buy a home wherever one's money permitted, and yes, the right to a decent job. Today, however, justice must be defined in relation to major social, economic, environmental, educational, political, technological changes confronting New Jersey and the nation as a whole at the end of the 20th century. In this context, the role of our Supreme Court assumes even heightened importance. The good Lord has blessed me with a beautiful family, good health, some intelligence, a lot of common sense, and an understanding heart and some knowledge of societal conflicts out of which litigation stems. I come to this high position with a long judicial history. My background and judicial experience provide the wellspring from which my concepts of justice will flow. My judicial philosophy can be summarized as a deference to legislative intent when that is ascertainable, a living constitution, and justice in our times. That makes me neither a liberal nor a conservative. To be sure, it was the concept of a living constitution that has made this day possible today. I intend to continue being a careful and cautious judge, respectful of precedent, but at the same time concerned with social facts, which touch upon my vision of a just society. I believe in justice, fair play, and simple human dignity as the core values of our constitutional system of government. The decision-making function of a justice delivered in the form of opinions has a profound impact on the citizens of this great state. I believe an opinion, therefore, must be more than an eloquent exposition of legal theory and logic. It must dispense justice in the case, while at the same time recognize the need for stability in the law without stagnation. I'm honored to be able to enter the 4th decade of my judicial career serving in this highest court. The dream of every lawyer has become a reality for me today. But the road to this premier state Supreme Court has been so rocky, the climb so steep, that looking back still frightens me at times. I know what Paul Laurence Dunbar meant when he wrote, "There are times I had to wear the mask that grins and lies, but it was my hope for a better, brighter, and just tomorrow that made the pain bearable along the way." Yes, environment may be a factor which will affect whether one achieves his or her goals in life, but it alone does not determine what one becomes in life. My shoes, now on display in the Coleman Gallery, provide proof of how long and how hard I worked to make this day possible. I have no regrets. What Arthur Kroc of the New York Times said in 1956 concerning Justice Brennan's appointment to the U.S. Supreme Court may be applied with equal force today. And therefore I say, I feel my appointment is, as Kroc said, representative of what an American with honor and integrity can achieve without birthright of social and economic privilege. Throughout our history, people have gathered in celebration of human success. Today is no exception. Even though the way one measures success is debatable, I agree with Booker T. Washington when he said, success is to be measured not so much by the position one has reached in life as by the obstacles one has overcome while trying to succeed. Applying that standard, some will say this event today represents a high level of success. I share those who have expressed that. For me, this swearing-in ceremony established beyond a shadow of a doubt that my goals while growing up, my stars, have been captured. It also represents a victory not only for Jim Coleman, but for all of New Jersey. The message this sends to the public is that anyone can succeed if you work hard enough and keep your moral compass pointing in the right direction. The bell of fulfillment tolls for me today, but not just for me. It also tolls for all of New Jersey. It is my hope that never, never again will New Jersey's highest court fail to reflect the racial diversity among its members that is representative in the society. In conclusion, I will repeat simply what I said earlier. I do solemnly swear that I will perform the duties of an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of New Jersey faithfully, impartially, and justly to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Either he signs this or he just doesn't get the job. I mean, I want to thank, before we close this ceremony, the wonderful pianist, Dr. Phillips, for helping us out with the program. You were very, very fine. We will now close the program with the singing of the Lord's Prayer by Winston Hughes, one of Justice Coleman's college classmates, now the director of the Fine Arts Department of Edison Township Public Schools. Mr. Winston Hughes will sing the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power